then I'm like, I need to make a cautious decision to move to the city. So we moved to extension 9, of which we were there for just a period of time, and then we moved here in February. So we've been operating for 4 years. We've turned 4 on the 18th of September. It's been a journey and a half. Good things don't come easy. And within the challenges of providing services and products to manage that they don't really understand, I still strong on the idea of moving Greenloop, right, education. So this year was our hardest financial year, and I thought this is the time to do a summit. I'm going to take 2 days to plan a summit. I'm going to bring in stakeholders, and I'm going to bring in the cabinet, and I'm going to teach BOTSWANA what sustainability is. I guess a lot of us we get too technical, and then the layman doesn't understand. So climate change along so you can resonate to it. Or people like right now with weird patterns that we don't understand or not used to. You have destroyed cities at all times. Heat is getting worse as the months go on or the years go on. So that's how we not accessing. So we also our country needs a framework, a policy that we can follow from top tier, from the government that trickles down into the private, into the parasitic organizations, the NGOs. Right? Now, I'm the chairperson for the Botswana Environmental Association Practitioners Association, the Practitioners Assessment. So within that, we are trying to advocate for sustainability in Botswana and trying to engage more. ESG right now is a booming topic. You can see a lot of companies are marketing for what's sustainable, but we've noticed that there's a gap. No one knows what to use to measure what's sustainable, and we're just trying to say we can assist companies and the governments to develop such frameworks. And I'd like to thank greatly His Excellency for the support throughout the day this year, and his cabinet. They're being very supportive of the mission. My direct minister, Honorable endorsed our summit last week Thursday. So the government and the Ministry of Environment will be supporting it and all our stakeholders. And I'd like to welcome Honorable Hili. Thank you for blessing us with your presence. He's very also supportive of the mission as an MP of Gaborone. So I think that's what I wanted to say, and this is a journey. ESG is a journey, sustainability is a journey, so I'd like everyone not to, it affects everyone sitting in this room. You need to start thinking about why you're going to put more digital than you are right now, how we're going to cut off on the papers that we need, when we're working, society that are sustainable, not only to give people food, but educate people so they can be independent and depend on government and us, right? But thank you very much for the 2-seconder. I think I'll hand it over to our MC.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much, Lindiwe, and I really appreciate you trusting me with today. I was so nervous when I saw all the incredible journalists in front of me. The nerves never get tired, you do this job so much. And one of your staff was so kind while I was taking my breath outside. He says to me, don't worry, Jazz, it's not just your nerves. It's also because we are in a space where if we put on this thing, it's going to be so loud, you can't hear us. So thank you, my brother, for making me feel a little bit better. The truth is, of course, I was also very excited when I noticed a car that was parking outside. someone that I really greatly admire had just arrived, and I just, you know how ladies we get a bit nervous and excited. So, Honorable Dumisang Hidi, I'm so happy you're here, and I'm so happy you even took time to say hello to me, because now I look fine. Ladies and gentlemen, do I look okay now? Yeah, a round of applause will calm me down further so we can get this show on the road. You're so kind, thank you so much. But at this moment, without further ado, it is quite a brief program, and the focus really is the Q&A. So I'm going to invite, of course, the closing remarks by the Mayor of Gaborone, His Lordship, Austin Abraham. This gentleman, of course, he serves the people of Gaborone City. You know, matters of city branding, community consultation, waste management, maintenance of public places, stray animal management, provision of social and development services. These are the things that are top of his professional consciousness. And I'm sure that his experience in military training also contributes to the discipline and the precision with which he conducts himself and his officials. Now, Kier and I actually share a few things in common. I'll tell you one of them for now. We're both Kasi raised, having grown up in Bunteng, so that makes me feel really cool that our current mayor is from the Kasi that I grew up in. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Kasi grown from Bunteng, His Lordship, Austin Abraham.
Thank you very much, Director of Ceremonies. So, which okay. Honorable Mama Kapet Misangili, Member of Parliament for Gaborone Central, Honorable Tuso Eskagmiza Kubama, Area Councillor for Limanwaj, Attorney Nchunga, Greenloop, founder and director, and our motivational speaker, members of the media, distinguished guests, I'm honored and humbled to be here this morning officiating at this important occasion, the launch of the much highly anticipated BOTSWANA Sustainability and ESG, Environmental, Social and Governance Summit hosted by Greenloop Environmental Consultants. We thank you, Ms. Lindiwe Mudise, for this noble gesture and invitation to Greenloop and the upcoming summit. Greenloop is 100% youth, female, and locally led organization which serves to connect people with nature, contributing towards conserving the environment and protecting it for future generations to appreciate. Greenloop is an innovative, green, growth-oriented company with knowledge of green technology products and markets locally and internationally. Greenloop has, over its 4 years of operation, assumed the role of the mindset change, climate change champions in Botswana through its sustainability awareness initiatives, consultancy services, and biodegradable product line. The mindset change campaign requires an enhanced approach towards the mindset change of the prioritization of sustainability budget, implementation of sustainability frameworks and sustainability reporting by entities operating in Botswana. Greenloop's mission and vision is in alignment with Gaborone City Council's cleanup and city sustainability mandate and the mindset change campaign. With these remarks, ke tswala thulaganyo ya gompieno ka pula.
Your Worship, Austin Abraham, Mayor of Gaborone City. You know, I also read somewhere that your favorite genre of music is reggae. I think Sharon was interviewing you about 2-3 years ago at her former media platform, and yeah, she mentioned that your favorite music genre is reggae, and that's the second thing, Your Worship, that we have in common, you and I. So please see me after class for further discussion about our favorite music genre. Well, it's time for us to do what we came to do, which is to open up the floor to allow you, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed colleagues and comrades from the media landscape, to please deliver your questions and answers to the esteemed panel. You will notice that Honorable Healy has joined the panel. We've asked him to please be present so that he can assist us with some of the question and answers that may arise. And he kindly obliged. So there you have it. You've got your panel before you. If you could just raise your hand and ask your question. Please do introduce yourself by way of the name of the media house that you represent, as well as your name, so we can get to know you. And then you can go ahead and direct your question to the panelists. So who's going to be first? Thank you, my lady. Please do give us your name and the media house that you represent. Hi, Lame. Hi. Oh, hello, Gordy. Oh, okay. Thank you so much. I'm tabling that. I know it's in November. I'm just going to double check. I think it will be 24, so.
22nd, 23rd November.
22nd, 23rd November. We could be in Mewaka.
Venue, Royal Area.
And I think after the press conference, there's going to be some QR codes that we'll share with you, so you can go to the website. There's a Facebook page for the forum itself, where you can get some more information. Do you have another question from the meeting? Question, comment, my lady?
Felicity Male from the News.
Thank you, Felicity.
Maybe you could share the speakers, whether they are locals or maybe international speakers.
All right. Hello. Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay. Thanks for that question. I think let me rephrase again. Sorry, I didn't touch base a lot on the summit details. So the summit is called the Global Sustainability and ESG Summit for 2023. It's going to be an annual summit that we're going to host at the end of every year. We're going to host it at the end of every year for organizations to come back and report on what they've done when it comes to the environment, the communities, which is the S, the social, and the governance compliance, right? So it's an annual event, and we're trying to see how we can get it onto the national calendar for it to be celebrated every year. This summit is going to be a high-level dialogue summit, where we are getting officials from the government, from the cabinet, to come and talk to the topic at hand. Hence why I mentioned for our direct minister, Honorable Filtana Nikering, has endorsed us, right? So we are in talks with her right now to possibly come and open up or have a keynote. If I'm lucky, I can fast and maybe if you come and open, I'll fast a lot, but he's also very supportive, but you know, he's taking care of all of us. He has a very busy schedule. Besides that, we're trying to get ministers from across the board, looking at how the different ministries are affecting the environment. We're looking at the minister Honorable Lefoko, right? For what's happening in mining. We need to move on to sustainable mining. Honorable we need to move into sustainable financing. For BOTSWANA through the World Bank or other donors, to be injected into projects right? We're also looking at bringing in CEOs and CFOs from your pension funds, from your medical aids, from from the hospital, from the health departments,
Would like to bring in Sadiq as well to come and talk about the climate change policy they're currently developing to mitigate the situation that's happening internationally. We're looking at bringing in the World Economic Forum, because the World Economic Forum is now doing a lot of projects internationally. That's one international organization. After spending money on sustainability, you need to report back. Integrated reporting or sustainable reporting. We're no longer doing financial reports. We integrate the sustainability into the reports. So we're looking at talking to the Global Reporting Initiative, also known as the GRI standards, of which a lot of companies internationally follow to report back and disclose on what they're doing when it comes to sustainability. We have officially been accredited to be community members of the GRI, and we're in talks with them to set up the first academy at GRI in BOTSWANA. We have a regional license at GRI to teach our region, being Africa, for a sustainability game, what is it to report and disclose? What can you disclose when you're telling the public and the communities? What do the communities want to hear? Right? It's not only about the people in the city. So yes, so we have those two international speakers. I'll say I and not we at this moment. I tried as hard to make this a local event because I'm really a lot of knowledge, but we tend to bombard our events with internationals. So I thought, what not a better moment to do it the way I want to see things being done. So also inclusivity. I've been finding it challenging to run my business. I needed support, and I've been knocking on doors, and I have support, and I'm happy that the government is supporting me. So we're going to also include the SME, the MME, that has been finding it challenging, like doing business, and for everyone to network with people at higher levels, right? Not only am I going to be sitting in a panel, they were honorable and the most high, but I'm going to also bring others that are in the market to help them network and get mentors that can get their businesses somewhere else. It's called sustainability. I'm touching a lot on the S. Because right now, annually I have an agreement with BAC, Botswana Accountancy College, where I mentor 28 to 30 students. This year, it's already 28 students from BAC. I mentor them. Now, they have time to see me throughout the week, twice a week, and they have time to come into our premises and engage on how to be a consultant before graduation. Normally we take upon the last year students, right? So that's us also giving back to Botswana to say we saw a gap in sustainability and mentorship. So why not us lead by example and tell you how to do it better? I will have answered over and beyond.
Thank you so much. Do we have more questions from the media? Ladies and gentlemen, just raise your hand. Thank you, my brother. Kindly identify yourself in the media house that you represent. We'll deliver your question.
Dumelang, ke nna go tla go tswa ko Botswana ka diena. Ne ke batla go tlhaloganya gore beyond just having a dialogue, what's the end goal? Do you want to influence the laws? Do you want to influence how companies do business? The UN SDG, Kanayang. You want this to be an annual event?
Okay.
Before I take that question, I'd like us to kindly and respectfully excuse Your Worship, His Worship. He has an engagement that has to be at right now. So I can release his there. Thank you. Okay. I think I forgot to mention the key people that are going to open the summit actually. So the United Nations, UNDP has agreed to come and be speakers and moderators at our conference. So the essence of what we're doing is because of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. That's the foundation of Greenloop. And that's the foundation of sustainability, and that's the foundation of ESG. I want to ESG without the goals that the whole world is trying to achieve. As we all know, or might not know, Botswana has committed 15% carbon neutralization by 2030. And we are not even a quarter there. So this is one of the call to actions for why the summit. We need them to lay the foundation because we're not going to act like everyone understands what we're talking about again. So we need to break it down. We're moving from standard 1 to university. That's what we are trying to achieve by the end of the summit. It's not going to be a summit where you come, don't understand what's going on. We're going to try and bring it down so that everyone can understand our technical terms, right? And the essence of it at the end of the day, the call to action, so what we want the country to understand the effect or the need for sustainability frameworks. But once have value add. A lot of organizations don't have buy-in. They don't understand the concept and what the value return is for them. Again, ESG needs, it's a high investment. You need a lot of money to invest in it because you're changing your whole operational systems. When I come into an organization, I'm going to be talking to HR. I have no one I'm not limited to. I'm not only talking to safety and environment. People are CEO, people are CFO, people are HR, people are IT. You know, I'm talking to communications and PR. Are you communicating the right thing outside when it comes to sustainability? HR, are you following your labor laws to make sure that did you allow to send energy feeding this? IT, have you transitioned from having what do you call those storage things? Servers, thanks. Are you transitioning from servers to cloud to create less storage space for you to reduce the rental because now you need a smaller space? Everyone is moving to cloud. CFO, what are you doing with the profits of the company? Are you reinvesting it into green bonds? Green bonds, investment, companies put money in for the money to be reallocated or reinvested into companies like Greenloop, whose mission and vision is to better the environment, protect the environment, protect the people within it with compliance of environmental regulations, right? So we need people, at the end of the day, the audience needs to understand the importance of the frameworks. They need to understand the value add for sustainable frameworks, for it's not only for us now, but it's for future generations, for us, and for our kids and kids and kids to come, right? And it's also a call to action for a lot of countries right now are transitioning. I think our key thing, the code, a lot of frameworks are coming from international organizations and they're saying we shouldn't mine coal. But we have to mine coal, but we have to mine coal sustainably because that's one of our main key resources as BOTSWANA, right? So it's because you get a lot of people that are afraid to have international documents or coal, but that's our only resource that we have that's bringing quite some income or generating our electricity. It's going to take time. So as we're transitioning to green energy, we need to be trying to mine what we have sustainably.
Emma, thank you.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. My lady? Oh, it's okay. Hello, namesake, please go ahead.
All right, my name is Ola. I report for your. So I'm asking if there's an opportunity here, especially for members of the fourth estate. You're talking about a summit that's coming at the end of the year, where everybody sits and has to report back and say this is what we did throughout the year when it comes to sustainable development and everything else that comes with it. But I think there's a gap when it comes to members of the media. Our role is to educate and to inform, and we find it difficult ourselves to consume information when it comes to climate change and all of these things. It's very difficult because, like you were saying at the beginning, that it's jargon, it's very technical. It takes time. It takes you have to actually have been in the platform or having had a discipline of some sort for you to properly understand it. And you can imagine what that means then for us to trigger it down to the understanding of a layman. So I'm asking to say, is there an opportunity here for maybe Greenloop to see to it that members of the media are trained in that respect? To say maybe for the next summit, there'll be feedback as well from us to say this is what we were able to do with the information that you gave us or the training that we went through. We were able to attain this and that thing, or we were able to get this kind of information, or we're able to go to I don't know, somewhere learn further when it comes to issues of climate change?
I'm actually smirking or laughing because this year we've hosted 2 events upstairs called Sessions in the Loop, of which we called different stakeholders from government and from from the private side sector to try and educate them about sustainability. And within that, we gave them a platform to ask questions so we can answer. So the next one, actually, the third one was supposed to be media sensitization. We're going to call you in for little for little and it's not something you're going to understand off of one session of an hour. It's something that we know you always need to come to our offices for us, maybe to have an initiative that we've partnered with media houses to come and engage you on a monthly basis on what's happening so that you can report accordingly. And the gentleman who asked the question earlier now, the policy. The Ministry of Environment has a lot of policies, that climate change, environmental protection. If you litter, you can go to jail, but it's a matter of them being implemented. So we're knowledgeable and we've developed a lot of policies and a lot of acts, but it's a matter of us trying to dissect them down into the media understanding, community understanding. And I think that's what basically we are trying to do, to break down the legislation that's there for you to understand. So we are very much open to calling you in because it was still in our books this year, because you're the ones saying the news to the people. And you break it down for us. I can still be very technical. My team always shouts at me when I'm too technical when I speak, so I really try to speak in simple terms for the next person to understand. So please do reach out. We're still going to be having a countdown to the summit. Let's engage more as media and Greenloop. You can go report back internationally because you're on international platforms either. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lindiwe. I love Orakile's comment, and I hope that during the summit, the media will not only be invited for the official opening, but also be given access to all the forum panel discussions so that they can really take it in and be able to translate it for the media. Thanks so much for being here, Orakile. It was like listening to radio, listening to you speak. Gentleman in front of my queen.
Thank you so much. My name is Kabo. I work for Weekend Post. I needed to understand what are some of your success stories since inception in the context of mitigating climate change. You said it's now a climate crisis, right? And then also, I needed to understand who are some of the research stakeholders that you guys are working with in unpacking climate change. Research stakeholders.
I think one of the success stories that we're sitting in a green building here right now. And we live by example in this building. And now personally, I enjoy the environmental concept. So it's a passion for me. So imagine when my passion, your profession. It's very strong. And another thing that we've successfully, or it's a journey that we're still doing, the packaging you're using right now, it's all recycled packaging. It might not be from Botswana, but we're sensitizing you by bringing it into a point where we can get enough funds to build the first biodegradable plant in Botswana. And this, every time we make packaging, packaging the difference is drastic because it's not manufactured more like being, and also transporting it to the country and then tags and stuff so it gets to where it is. But I think I've infused my knowledge into the people I work with, my employees, where they can explain, this happens, a cow can eat it, the same cow you eat at the end of the day. So these are more environmentally friendly. So this is supposed to be a mission to phase out plastic, right? To phase out any hazardous packaging we have in the country. And that's also a sense of success because we educate, you can't even count how many people we've educated, right? The fact that we're sensitized is very good. And another success story within the packaging is that corporates now tell events we want our package packaged in a sustainable layout or packaging. Or we want a sustainable hamper. Okay. And when people normally don't know packaging. So that also shows you how corporates are slowly infusing this into their mandate. OP sometimes comes to buy, Office of the President, they come and buy some of our packaging as well to use during their meetings. That's also very nice to see the diversity of the people buying. In terms of research institutions, right now the only institution we're working with in the mentioned country, which is BAC, because our topic is more relatable right now in Botswana due to the limited knowledge to about finance. Because right now, the people who are on their toes are the CFOs, but what's your mind? But also under Greenloop, seriously, so we haven't engaged on any projects level B3 and others, but right now we're working with BAC. Okay. And we just had a meeting also with Bika, right? They invited us during early this year. I was on a panel, the Bika ESG breakfast, where I was on a panel with the Wilderness Authority, the CFO Wasifala Nari Mohammed, and Standard Chartered as well as the COO, and we were reporting back. I had to come and lay down the ground. I'm normally the introduction, the ESG game. What does it mean for us? And then they were reporting back what have they done so far. So we engaged Bika to say, guys, I'm simulating ESG certification because right now I want to do my PhD, but there's no way in Botswana where I can do it because I need to do a PhD in sustainability, right? That means I have to go to Cape Town. That's why I can find the closest place. So Bika and Greenloop are in talks to engage on starting the first certification of ESG Botswana, where the media can engage on that. It's not going to be particular to people in finance only. It's going to be particular to everyone across all ministries. So I hope I've answered. Yeah.
Thank you so much. My name is Kolamona Kane. I'm with the Gaps News Online. I get this back as a environmental going back to the summit. For our sponsor, budget how many delegates can I buying for your summit? Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you for that. Okay, let me go backwards. We're looking to have about 300 delegates. Or it's either we do it big or we don't do it. Because this kind of a topic, you need everyone's engagement or no one. So we're looking at 300 to 400 restrictions. That's why we chose the Royal Area because it would capacitate the vision. And beyond that, that's in person 300. And then we're going to have an online platform that can host 1,000 to 10,000 people. This is us showing you where we can go digital. For the internationals that are going to participate probably won't be here physically, but they'll attend hybrid-wise, but then online to engage with us, right? And also to have an outreach for it. Our LinkedIn page, Greenloop, and my personal LinkedIn page are so up to date that we have so many followers from around the world. That can also, we can share the summit with that will boost our economy, right? Your other question was sponsors. My current sponsor is Lindre Mudise because she really sponsors me a lot. But for now, we've had, and like I mentioned, we never endorsement from the Ministry of Environment. So for now, this press brief has to now unpack for stakeholders to come and start endorsing us. We had a timeline also where by Friday we should have closed out on those who want to endorse. So we're in talks. I just don't want to throw out stakeholders because I might get into trouble. But we're going to have endorsements by the end of this week. And we're going to have a second press brief towards the summit. And then, but I think before then, you'd see things already posted. You had a third question.
The budget.
The budget is 500,000. Yeah, because it's 300 to 400 people. And because there's a sustainability there too. So I want this summit to be a zero waste, totally digital summit. So I don't want to see any plastic bottles. I don't want to see any paper. As you can see, I work with brands that resonate with our mission. No plastic bottle. So that's why the cost is so high, because of digitalization, because there'll be no paper, there'll be no plastic. So we're moving to more sustainable alternative solutions.
Emma, thank you very much. I have a follow-up from a statement you just made, yeah, for the data sustainability. In your own opinion, why is number one, why is it that locally there's something like sustainability? And then this vision of yours, say you guys are trying to make Botswana more sustainable. Is it practical? For example, Harare less coal, it's more doable in a first world country than a third world country. And then hardly be like one way when I'm running a business in a rural area or working more sustainable, ramping up my costs. Where does the profit margin come in?
Okay, we're very behind because there's minimal awareness of the topic, and there is minimal action to the implementation of environmental acts and policies. Okay. When you're passing a traffic light, they keep you laugh, and you don't do that. You know you put on your seatbelt when you're driving when you see the police officers when I charge you if you don't have it on, because those laws are heavily implemented, unlike some environment. That's why we're trying to assist the government. And that's why we have these triple P, public-private partnerships. Or the way we see the government needs a hand, we come in as the private stakeholders to come up with solutions that can dissect the policies that we have for the next person to understand. Is it expensive? Yes, it's expensive because there's no awareness and the economy hasn't slowly transitioned over the journey of sustainability. And is it expensive? The product we sell, for example, our products, people call them luxury products. And I had just explained what they're expensive because we need to bring them into the country, right? Well, now our thought was that let us bring them into the country while we're gaining capital to inject into creating our own plant, right? Is it practical? It is practical for me. It might not be practical for the next person. That's why my doors are still open. Again, people say I'm futuristic. I've been talking about ESG and sustainability for 4 years, but only now stakeholders are saying, after the presentation, you want to see a full presentation, infuse your understanding and your mission and vision into our industry. International pressure is forcing the country now to be aligned, right? I think, was it 2 or 3 weeks back, His Excellency was up in New York for the annual United Nations update for what have we done as nations. We're 7 years away from 2030. So some of the things have been moved to 2050, the targets are carbon emission and carbon neutralization. And Kanya, remember I said ESG is a journey. So we're trying to push for awareness as much as we can. That's why we thought, well, it's very important to involve the government and stakeholders saying, what are multinationals coming from outside. You have multinational companies coming from outside that comply with sustainability, but haven't been doing so for years operating in Botswana. So now it's a call to action or accountability. What are you guys doing? And fortunate or unfortunate for them, fortunate for us, unfortunate for them, the headquarters somewhere there, you guys have an office in Botswana, Lily XYZ company. But our branches are all over the world, and Botswana is the only country you can report on sustainability. Why haven't you invested into Botswana so that you can mitigate the impact you have in that country? See, so now this is why you have to see a lot of ESG things going around. And it's practical because if other countries have done it, why can't we do it? And I'm not saying you should copy and paste frameworks. A lot of things that don't happen in Botswana is that we've copied and pasted frameworks. ESG is very particular to the environment and its country and its economy. That's why I like saying when you engage a consultant or an ESG framework or any other country you're coming from, make sure you've got 80% local consultants and 20% infusion of internationals. Because you always need internationals to update you about international laws, right? While you are infusing your 80% and know how our companies affecting the environment in Botswana. It's very practical. And I'll be a living example for it. Something that the country is not used to. We can help teach the country and get it somewhere. It's not going to be easy, but it can be done.
Ke dumellana le wena ka botlalo motho o motona, mme nne ke rialo ke rena ke tla ikopelela hore o tlo re direle di-recyclable material fan. Mo o tlo kana o tla re etsa motsadi ha o ka re direla difene tsa Greenloop rona bo mojeso re ka iposta ka tsone thata le gone. Ka nako ha re rotloeditswe ke borre ba e leng gore le bone ba na le maikarabelo a matona le maemo a matona, ne ke re ke ba he sebakatlhe gore ba re lekodise gore bone jaaka ba tlo gore rotloetsa mo press conference-eng ya gompieno. How can we look forward to their support for next month's forum? I'll start with yourself then, Re Nchunga. How are you envisioning supporting Greenloop with this forum for next month?
I think my jumble thoughts is we need to upgrade the legal framework to catch up as the country is gravitating towards a reset agenda. The law should not lag behind. I'll just give 2 examples which all of you can identify with. You know that if you drive beyond the speed limit, you will get a fine. You know that if you don't wear your seatbelt, you'll get a fine. But how often have you driven and a bus is heavily smoking, grab bus a long distance, and you see them being stopped to get a ticket? So the law is more on traditional offenses. Things which are more serious in destroying the economy is very rare. I'm happy that at least when it comes to dumping, like in the city, dumping you get fined. But other things which affect the environment, the legal framework seems to be behind. So now my thoughts is that the law needs to upgrade, and also law enforcement should probably get some specialized training so that they can appreciate that these heavy fines, because even if we move forward in awareness and the legal framework is behind, then there's no point, because somebody should be held responsible. Those are my jumbled thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you, Mutsadi Wame. We appreciate your jumbled thoughts and the perspective, but I'm keen to know, in your various capacities, will we be seeing you at the forum, or how do you intend to utilize your position to amplify the intentions of this forum?
There are many things that define me as a person. As a person of faith, obviously I would emphasize the message which I shared this morning, that Rona, we are the privileged species which should dominate and take care of the earth. So not only are we superior, but we should always be mindful of the fact that we have to love this earth and take care of it. So from the faith sector, I would emphasize that message, that we have a responsibility to take care of our environment and connect and be in harmony with the environment. From my other space as a musician and artist, obviously, if you sit down with me and educate me, before the summit, I could come up with a very nice awareness song on the environment, but I need you to give me the pointers. And before the summit, there'll be a nice rap song which talks about the environment, something which is very catchy. And from the legal framework also, as much as my services are needed in advising and bringing awareness of how far the law has come and what some of the setbacks, I'm able to comb through the law and see if our legal framework is compliant or is behind. I think those are my contributions. But if a miracle happens between now and then, obviously financially one could also assist. But you have to do a lot of fasting.
Thank you so much, Nchunga. Tota nna nka go pika gore o tle go rapella gape ka November motho o motona. If you've just tuned into any of the platforms that you're watching, be it the variety of media houses that I mentioned earlier, we've got Michi here, we've got Harvest Online, we've got Woman to Woman. I'll mention a few more. If you've just tripped upon us and you're wondering what's happening, we are here at Greenloop Environmental Consultants. It's a press conference that we're having on the upcoming Botswana Sustainability and ESG Summit 2023. Honorable Yili, how will we be recognizing your support of this Botswana Sustainability and ESG Summit, sir? And perhaps your overall sentiments on the subject matter for today.
Thank you very much, Jess. Good morning to Lindy Trenchunga and members of the fourth estate, as well as everybody who may be here today. That will be great to be here to Mr. Member of Parliament for Cameroon Central, and a climate champion. I belong to a group of, a global group of parliamentarians called the Climate Parliament. So what the Climate Parliament seeks to do is educate and strengthen members of parliament in issues of climate change, green energy transition, sustainable transport, sustainable energy production. So the overall aim of this group is to push legislation. As I think we all know, that scientists warn us that our climate budget, so to speak, of increasing, that we must not increase our output in terms of temperature by more than 1.5 degrees. Otherwise, we're headed for a climate catastrophe. So what the Climate Parliament seeks to do is inform legislators, such that in their respective countries, this is a network that is international. It covers basically all the countries in the world. Which like I said, I'm privileged to be a member from Botswana. I've also brought along a couple of other members from here, including the leader of opposition, So what it seeks to do is inform members of parliament about scientific research in relation to climate change, in relation to the green energy transition, in relation to the green grids. So what it seeks to do is have MPs push in their different parliaments laws that will push sustainability, that will push ESG in general. So I have participated in about 3 of these meetings, 2 of them in Egypt, 1 in South Africa, and I shall be going for 1 in Dubai at the end of November. What these meetings usually do, they are a precursor to the COP meetings, Conference of Parties, this one being COP28, which shall be held in Dubai. So it seeks to empower MPs to understand the climate challenge, such that when we're in Parliament, when we're making laws, we make those laws with the green hat on, sustainability hat on, to know what are the implications for the environment. What are the implications so far as the green energy transition? Like Lindy spoke to our huge coal reserves, I think they're the biggest in the world, 218 billion tons of coal. Now, some people will say, no, you can't mine coal. But then our answer will be, any country that you can think of, their base load when it comes to energy production is coal. Then they will add wind, they will add solar, but the base load is coal, simply because solar depends on the sunshine. So on the days when these weather that inhibits the sunshine, it affects that. When you talk about wind, it depends on the wind. If there's no wind, it means you can't have. So that is why the base load is always coal. So we say, like she's been saying, how can we mine our coal sustainably? how can we mine our coal in a green, with using green technologies. So those are the things that in Parliament I try and champion. I don't know if you guys are aware of BOTSWANA. BOTSWANA is a project, as the abbreviation goes, it's Zimbabwe, Zambia, Namibia, and Botswana. It's a huge solar project that's supposed to be situated somewhere in the areas of Dry Hook, Middle Peaks, in the Boravast area, towards Box Pits, and overlaps into Namibia. So this is going to be the biggest solar farm in the whole of Africa, which is going to supply Botswana, Namibia, Zimbabwe, and Zambia with electricity. So, and it is partly funded by the US aid. So what it seeks to do is the Green Grids initiative is transport. Motlakasa will produce you there, but you need a way of transporting that electricity. So the Green Grids initiative here will be transporting Motlakasa to Gaborone, to Francistown, to Harare, to Bulawayo, to Windhoek, to Lusaka, to all those countries. And if there's a surplus, also the region. I think all of us are aware that our region, we've gone through this, it's so much better now, but we've all gone through this issue of load sharing. We know our neighbor in South Africa are still struggling with that. Are slightly better than where they were a couple of months ago, but are still struggling with that. So this seeks to solve the energy problem that we have in the region, particularly in the BOTSWANA countries, as aforementioned. What is my role insofar as this summit is concerned? And behind the scenes, some of the people that Levi's been speaking about, I've been trying to help her to get them on board. And I'll continue doing that. Wherever she may need me, I'll be available as a legislator and a member of the same party that the people that she seeks to have on board. I'm helping her lobby them. I'm helping to push them along to participate in this very important summit. Thank you very much.
I'd like to feel our honorable deserve a round of applause. Seriously, he's one of my favorite speakers in the parliament. People like him are very dangerous because they can encourage people like us to start thinking about going to where they are, you know? I mean, I'm not surprised that you've got Dignash standing up and registering his name. You know, he's watching guys like Honorable Healy and he's being inspired, you know? I think that was a worthy contribution and a very good place to stop, unless you would like to further engage with the two gentlemen and the distinguished lady at the panel. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll give you this opportunity before we close and say our goodbyes to please deliver a question or a comment before we say goodbye. Until November. Going once? Thank you, my gentlemen.
To the honorable. My question would be, or is, what have been the challenges of coming up with which are more sustainable and implementing them from government's point of view?
Thank you. Well, the green energy transition that we're on here speaks to us moving away from fossil fuels, your oils, your coal, your LPG gas. Now, if you're in a country that holds the biggest reserves of coal, that in itself is going to present a paradox, because people who maybe lack knowledge on issues of climate change will say to you, why on earth should we sacrifice such a huge resource for something that, and being pushed, because primarily the push, I think we all know, comes from the Western countries, and being pushed by people who have already benefited from these resources, whose economies are advanced because of these resources. And it's a fair argument. It's a fair argument that I personally can agree with. So that is the challenge, getting on board our colleagues to understand that we can still mine our coal, but we need to do it sustainably so that we participate in the green energy transition. The other challenge that I think we have faced, not necessarily to your question, is what I also like to call the resource curse. Usually we call the resource curse the bad things that come with having resources, whether it be wars, whether it be whatever. I think our resource curse is that people don't want to fund us anymore because they think we have money. When donor organizations look at Botswana, they look at us as a country with money. So that has become our resource curse. So when you talk of these kind of things that Lindy is speaking to, people will simply say that Botswana na le madi. When you approach donors, they'll be like, no, we're better off going to country XYZ because people never don't worry. But you can find what a country XYZ, like one of the countries in the SADC region, has vast resources of everything, more than we have. They have diamonds, they have coltan, they have lithium, they have copper, they have lots of water, they have huge forests. But because they can't manage themselves, they are a donor basket case. So that has become our curse. But it's not that we have more than everybody. I think actually a lot of our SADC neighbors have more minerals than we do. But because we've managed ours better, we have now suffered the resource curse of people thinking we have money and them struggling or being reluctant to support us. So the challenge, to answer your question, is getting our colleagues, fellow legislators and technocrats on board the green energy transition. Thank you.
Any more questions, ladies and gentlemen, before we close? Good? Awesome. Oh, is there someone behind the camera? That's a very good question. Will there be a fashion show component to the forum, my lady, in November?
I am a lady of many talents and acquisitions. So I have a company called Greenloop, and another one is called Jean Jeans. My middle name is Jean. Jeans. So how about some of my colleagues are wearing some denim PPE? It's something that's not common when I think. So I upcycled denim to infuse some PPE into it. So because I'm always wearing jeans because of the nature of my job on site, I did something complimentary for the ladies, even the media ladies, because you're always running like I am. Rokapa, a nice linen shirt. It's 100% made in Botswana. We partnered with the Swedish Diaries to make these linen shirts. So it's what I wear when I need to be more formal with my denim. So it's something I do. I can it's either I sell packaging, assemble hampers, or do something with the denim. So yeah.
Nyame kwa utlwala botsadi tota ke tla buella khaitsedi ya ke le nna le babogedi ba ba re lebileng gore go batla fashion show straight. Yeah. Go dinara yana go dinara ba bitsa bo sisters le bo brothers ba re khabela. Emma my lady. This was, of course, the Greenloop Environmental Consultants Press Conference on the upcoming Botswana Sustainability and ESG Summit. So much left unsaid, but don't worry, because the conference is taking place next month. You've got to follow the Facebook pages, Twitter pages. When I'm Greenloop, environmentalist, enviroeconomist, yeah. So thank you so much for your kind attention, and thank you once again to all the media houses that were kind enough to live stream us today. I know that Jumi from PR Practice will appreciate it if I just mention all of them again. That's Miri, Woman to Woman Magazine, Intercore Media, Lee Song Magazine, as well as Argus Online, and a very special greeting to someone who is with us today to bring some extra magic and good luck and good vibes and generally just the presence of spiritual peace. That is Prophet Joel Kitimele. I know you're somewhere to my left. Thank you for trusting me with today. So painless, such a pleasure catching up with fellow media practitioners. Renchunga, Honorable Healy, as well as His Worship Abraham in absentia. It was a privilege to serve you today. I hope to see you in November. Until God brings us together again, may He keep you and bless you. Good afternoon.